if you want to be a racist, you have the right to be a racist. Just don't piss me off, or just don't do anything towards me. If you do something towards me, then I got to react. Like, you can't go around to everybody in the world and say, what do you believe in? And this, that, you can't do that. You have the right to be racist. If you want to be racist, you can be racist. That's what it is. I know people on both sides who are racist. It's when you start pushing it on other people, that's where it becomes a problem. Now, if you say something like that, I think that word has been just like used so often. And I think that people are just looking for triggers, because if you think about it, when you get in an argument with somebody, something comes out that should not come out, and then you can't really backtrack. And in this situation, this lady, do we know, is she racist? I don't know. If she is, or if she's not, she probably came out and she has like 3 black friends that she talks about. Oh, I got a black friend here, I'm not racist. So, you always get those kind of...
You're our black friend, Bobby.
Yes, you guys are good. You guys are good.
Josh always uses that. Josh is always like, I'm not racist, guys.
I'm not
what's crazy? A black co-host and a friend.
The Asian dude can say that to Bobby, but if I would have said that, it'd been over.
I've been spending time in the dojo, doing all the things that they won't show. No spotlights on me, no photos, becoming the king on the low low.
Is there such thing as a pass, Bobby?
Is that is this the topic we're talking about?
I know.
We got on it.
Yeah, we're cool with it.
Is there a pass?
I don't know about a pass. Sometimes I'm a little different than most people when it goes to certain things.
What do you mean by different?
If you want to be a racist, you have the right to be a racist. Just don't piss me off, or just don't do anything towards me. If you do something towards me, then I got to react. Like, you can't go around to everybody in the world and say, what do you believe in? And this, that, you can't do that. You have the right to be racist. If you want to be racist, you can be racist. That's what it is. I know people on both sides who are racist. It's when you start pushing it on other people, that's where it becomes a problem. Now, if you say something like that, I think that word has been just like used so often. And I think that people are just looking for triggers, because if you think about it, when you get in an argument with somebody, something comes out that should not come out, and then you can't really backtrack. And in this situation, this lady, do we know, is she racist? I don't know. If she is, or if she's not, she probably came out and she has like 3 black friends that she talks about. Oh, I got a black friend here, I'm not racist. So, you always get those kind
You're
of...
our black friend, Bobby.
Yes, you guys are good. You guys are good.
Josh always uses that. Josh is always like, I'm not racist, guys.
I'm not
what's crazy? A black co-host and a friend.
The Asian dude can say that to Bobby, but if I would have said that, it'd been over.
It's so touchy right now, and I think it's touchy because people put everything into politics. That's what it all goes down to. And I think you said something at the beginning where you said, there's a lot of racists on this side or racists on that. You know what? When we start getting into politics, when they start deeming Trump for a reason, they're like, he's racist. So when it was such this big controversy on racism, it was like a lot of people that were racist were like, okay, let's go over here. This is going to piss them off. So he just got a whole bunch of voters that may not have been Trump fans or whatever, is because the other side was saying he's a racist. They were like, all right, racist, let's go over here. It's going to piss them off, but it's going to give him more power on his side. So if they think he's racist, they're going to hate this. And I think a lot of times people just jump into this too often. I've been a victim of racism often. And I just keep moving. It's like one of my friends said, there's one, he likes this quote, there's more than one way to the end zone. So I've seen it in my industry often. So when I hit that stumble, I just keep going. Because if I sit back and worry about that and fight that every single time, then I'm never going to go anywhere. I'm just going to be in fights all the time.
You think anyone can be racist?
I think,
or is it only
everyone is racist at some point in time, because
so it's not just subject just to white people.
No. I think there's people that are racist across the board. There's some different cultures that are racist towards the other. I'm like, wait a minute, you guys don't like them? Why? And it's like because of the history or whatever the case is. But everybody has those. Now we at some point we call it racism, and then sometimes we call it a stereotype. And it's almost the same thing.
I was in South Africa with Trevor apparently for like a month. We spent some time out there visiting his family. He had a fight out there. Someone out there to corner him. And the lighter skinned black people are racist towards the dark skinned black people. So the lighter skin are called coloreds, and the darker skin are called they call them kefirs, which is like the version of the N word over there. And so they don't like each other, like you were saying. Some cultures are just they're racist towards each other, and the same thing goes for like Asians. What?
Oh yeah,
we're the most racist against each other.
The worst.
And people don't realize
but that stems from a few different things, like the war.
But the war of when?
Of all of them.
But which war?
Well, for example, like when the Japanese, like World War II, when the Japanese were taking over Asia, and they committed a lot of atrocities and crimes, especially like in Korea and certain parts of China. So that kind of lingered on and carried on.
They killed millions of Chinese.
And then,
but when we talk about it moving forward, we look at like generations and generations and generations forward. Those people are still having to, I don't want to say defend themselves, but explain themselves to something that happened way back when.
it's still there.
It's still there.
It's still there, but it's not like it doesn't stop things from happening though.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like all Asians still go visit Tokyo is cool. You know, people aren't letting that stop them from going to visit and do things, you know.
Sure.
And then I think you have what you mentioned, like skin color, even within the Asians. Like you go to the southeast part of Asia, and they're darker. And so there's that, you know, perception of, okay, we're all Asians, but you're the dark Asians.
And that's almost more like class.
Correct.
So have you ever seen Asians, when they're driving, they like have the sleeves, they have the
mask.
thing.
Yeah.
It's because obviously if you're darker skinned, you're perceived as working out in the field.
You work outside.
Yep, correct.
You're the working class.
So
You're
if
the
you
ones
have
working in the field, you're the one working outside doing hard labor. Whereas the ones that have the
olive
pale skin,
yep.
pale skin, like the ones that always are putting on like lighter makeup. You'll see the Japanese women generally tend to put on, or Chinese women generally to put on like makeup to make their skin look lighter, so they're not perceived as working class.
Yep.
Yeah,
So are we ever going to get to a point where there's no racism?
I think eventually, because all the mixing, I mean, there's obviously, you know, it's eventual, but it's not, but part of racism, I think, is also more of like tribalism. Like you said, Joe Rogan's talked about this in Africa or wherever. There's a tribe that's the same tribe, but then they happen to split because of whatever reason. And now they war against each other because of that. It's like football teams. It's like,
that's not racism though. That's just that they don't hate each other. That's a gang.
Racism and hate is the same thing.
Yeah.
That you hate for a certain reason. That's what we talked about, because with black and black are the same, but you said lighter skin black is one way versus darker skin black. And people joke about it even in the United States. It's like, oh, light skinned. We don't like light skinned. Dark skinned versus light skinned. There's all those little, I guess it's hate.
It is. To me, everything comes down to intent or like.
But I have a question. What changed though from the 80s and 90s when black people made fun of themselves about things, and all the comedy specials, like everything, like it didn't matter. Comedy specials didn't matter. TV series, they made fun of their own stereotypes, and it was considered to be hilarious. Now nobody can do it.
Oh no!
It's coming back.
It's still the same, but it's not just black people. White people make the same comments. There's white people that have.
Of course, we make fun of ourselves,
and black people do it too. I mean,
Asians do too.
It's across the board. Asians do it. Asians. Yeah. I think you sent a clip one time or somebody.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for you guys to get cast in a movie where you guys aren't the nerds. Like it's all you guys.
I mean, we had a
Who'd you have?
superhero, Shang-Chi.
Yeah, and then they dropped him for a while, but he's coming back. Yeah,
he was our Black Panther, man. He was a Yellow Panther, bro.
yeah.
You don't remember?
I don't know. What about there was one guy from Ong Bak. I watched that
Johnny
movie,
or
the Muay Thai one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that one.
We had
Tony
Jet
Jaa.
Li.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Jet Li, Jackie Chan.
But that's all the martial arts stuff. Like we just recently started getting some like, you know, like cool looking Asians that are like leading men, not the martial arts.
Jet Li had some bomb ass movies. His show, what? One?
Yeah, but he never kissed homegirl in the movie, did she? Aaliyah?
I don't know. What movie was that?
Romeo Must Die, I think.
That's with DMX.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't kiss her?
Nah, they
Good
didn't.
on him, man. That ain't his girl.
No, but that was Asians and blacks coming together, man.
Yeah.
Yay.
That was cool. Yes. It's,
Oh, did he not kiss her because she was black?
No, he did not kiss her. The movie script never let them, I believe. I don't know if I got that wrong. But
Oh, really? Because of that?
no,
I mean, I don't know. It happens.
We've had a few moments. We celebrate them out there, and getting.
Well, who was the guy that played in not Tokyo Drift, but in Fast and Furious? I like him as an actor.
Oh, he was in Tokyo Drift. Too.
He was in Tokyo Drift. Yeah, that was when he kind of exploded on the scene.
I forgot his name.
I forgot his
Sun
name.
Joe or something.
Yeah, he's freaking awesome, man. I like him as an actor.
Yeah. No, we got a few out there. We got a few.
Yeah,
They're coming up.
yeah.
A few that won Oscars and stuff like that too. So
Yeah, every now and then.
But let me ask you this though, Bobby. And so I went through a phase where like I had like kind of like around the time we met, I had 3 really good friends that were all fighters, and all 3 of them were black. We used to hang out, all the time on the weekends. One of them actually lived with me for probably about 5-6 years, and he'd always call me the N-word. And I'd always call him the N-word.
Oh, you call him back?
Yeah, he was like, yeah, that's what it was. I mean, I'm being upfront.
Who called you? Who was it?
Who called me?
He said he called you, and then
Yeah.
who was it?
What do you mean?
Who was the
I'm
person?
not saying who he is.
Well, that makes a big difference.
It does?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
because we got to
it's
call
my-
him to see if he gave
Okay.
you a pass.
Oh no, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's
do you
cool.
have-
And who
Josh,
he didn't bring
were
it
you-
to the group.
Josh,
Oh.
you weren't using the hard R, were you?
No, it's always A.
Okay.
Always.
And you had the pass?
Always.
You
I
had
had
the
the
pass?
pass. But
You have
I
this in
will
I want to
writing?
know who
Is
gave you the pass.
my boy Travis.
We need to call him.
You can call him? Okay, anyways, let's go.
Clearly, Bobby,
do you have
Bobby
a-
isn't giving you the pass. Bobby is not giving you the pass.
This is back in 98, 99, 2000 era. Anyways, but literally like all the weekends, every time we'd always be out, all 3 of us be out, 4 of us be out, some other friends. But bottom line is I, in 2005, 2006, I have another group of friends that are all black, and we would always go out. But then they were older though. They were like probably more, how old are you? 50? Okay. They're like closer. 40. They're like 57, 58. They're closer to 60. Anyways. And, they're just like my boys to today, but we were out with them, and I hadn't hung out with like their friends, just with my group of friends that were real close. And, I've known all of them since like 97, 98. Anyways. And like this was probably like around that time we were all at the club, all having a good time, and having a great time. And then, one of them called me the N-word. I called him back. The other 2 guys that had never met me before, kind of didn't know me, they got a little upset. So my friends called me on Monday, and they're like, "Hey man, like everyone loves you. Everyone's, like it's cool. Like but our 2 boys, like if they're around, like if it's cool, I'm like, it doesn't bother. I'm not married to this thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not anything that you guys say it to me. It's out of a respect thing, I think. And so since then, never use the word ever. Just because if you know you're offending one person, it's also, I think, a level of maturity. I realized I got mad for a split second, and then he's like, look, some people just don't want to hear it from somebody that's white. And I'm like, hey man, whatever's cool with you guys. It doesn't bother me. And in my position, I could be somebody that says, you know what, man, I'll fuck those guys up, man. Fuck them. I don't need to say this shit. Like, I can say whatever the fuck I want. Come say something to me. But why be that way when it's like they're all just your friends? Like these are all people that I've been friends with for, at the time, 8-9 years. Now we do like this group of friends was like Friday lunches. Every Friday we do lunches. We all get together, hit lunch, get some drinks, walk the mall, just have a good time, every Friday. And what gives you a pass? Like, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, what gives you that pass? When do you feel, and you're saying, I'm assuming you'll say never gives you a pass, but there was moments where like you hear like Tekashi 6ix9ine. He's like, I'll say the word wherever I want, whenever I want. I don't give a crap. Like, he's like, I grew up in the Bronx. I grew up doing this. I grew up like, when do people just be like, oh, he's just crazy? Like, it doesn't matter? Or is there a moment where you get a pass?
I personally wouldn't give a pass to anyone. It's for me, because I just think it's it's ignorant to say. And I think what you have to be sensitive of is sometimes people have a trigger because of something that happened and the way that they recalled it before. So they may be feeling that, and you said some older black men.
Yeah.
So they probably had to go through some stuff where that word was weaponized, that they had to fight for and certain things. Like if you would have caught me and said it, years ago when I was really having to deal with some stuff, because I think that's what people don't understand is coming from a black man. That word is like, I've gone through some shit that I shouldn't have had to ever go through. I mean, and it's a constant thing. And I've gone through certain things where even of late where I went in there and I was looked at and I was like treated a certain way. And then somebody was like, "Oh, Bobby Lashley," and took a picture with me. And the same people that did that looked at me and they were like, "Oh, I want to be cool with him because he's somebody." Not because I'm just me. Because when I walk around, I don't fit in a lot. And you can tell that I probably do something. But there's a lot of black men out there that are big. And when people see them, they have an opinion. And then they treat you a certain way. Some people don't, but some people do. And I think that's where it's hard. I think a lot of people they're just triggered by that word because if a white person comes and says it, you don't know where their intent is. You don't know if they're like looking down at you or speaking down to you. So it's best just to stay away from that. I get it. I'm not running around saying it because that's just me. But there a lot of black people say it to black people, but they know where it's coming from. If it's coming from a white person, they don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, I guess
it's just to throw something in there. It's not universal. Like it's cool with one guy, not.
Yeah, but
you can't be like, "Oh, but so and so said it's cool." It's like,
no, you're right.
Yeah,
you're
it is not universal. It's
but that
cool
was the issue that night, was that like all like my 7 or 8 friends that I'm always with all the time, they're all black. And so when you're throwing it around amongst each other, but then you got 2 new friends that I had never really met. I'd seen them at like, barbecues. I'd seen them at like family functions. We do like, Christmas Eve stuff together every once in a while. And they'd show up, but never came up. But out at the club, out with the boys.
But see, I think that's why it's potentially dangerous, right? Because you're out in an environment where people don't know you. And like, I would imagine people get hurt over that sometimes. Like,
It's a cross. If my son said it, if I heard my son say it, I'd call him like, "Miles, that's ignorant language. Just don't talk like that." I would tell him, because if you talk like it and then your little friends are talking like let's just stay away from it. There's just so much behind that word. Like this whole situation with this woman is because of that word. Nobody's talking about, is she racist? They're just saying, "Oh, she said that word, so she's automatically racist." It's like, man, there's too much behind it. Like this whole controversy is based on her saying a word. Like for me, I don't care. Like you say it to me and I have the right to punch you in the mouth if I want to. Or I have the right to just walk away. So, so you say it to me if you want to, and depending on where I'm at that day, or where if I'm going through something and I get triggered by it, and it is what it is.
And when's the last time somebody said it to you? Can you recall? Like in a,
I've heard it in the wrestling business quite often. It hadn't, not even that long.
Was saying it to you though, or just saying it in general?
Saying it to me. From the people in the business, it's been years ago. And then like certain fans like to jump in there because you get like a bunch of DMs, but you can't really count those because that could be anyone. But a lot of times our ghost people that are in there with no followers and all this stuff, usually some guys that are in the wrestling business, they have their little burner sites to make themselves seem cool and stuff like that. It's the wrestling business is just a mess. But some of those people do say that, and some of the higher ups, because in wrestling back in the early times, man, it was rough then. I've heard stories from some of the black wrestlers that some of the things that they had to go through and how they were put down. But man, at the end of the day, I don't waste my time on stupidity.
I guess I'm gonna have fun with this for a second. Is Bobby, like the girl, she said the N-word, but then like remember the kid that was wrestling and the parents got into it in the stands and stuff. And Bobby made up this whole story about like this could happen. Maybe that little kid said some really bad things to her. And
the kid that we're referring to that was wrestling, he just won the 20 nationals and teched everyone in the finals.
Yeah.
He's 4-time state champion, hadn't lost in high school. His parents are sitting up in the stands. What do they say about him?
No, I didn't give
what the dad said. I'm just saying, you said, well, maybe the dad did this. Maybe the dad started it. Let me put it in terms that you would understand. Okay, so the parents of Michael Jordan are sitting in the stands and they're saying, your son sucks while he's scoring 100 points in a game. What are the parents going to say? Look up there and say, you're stupid. Yeah, look at the scoreboard. My kid's way better than your kid. Yeah. And until they throw a punch, then it is what it is. Yeah. But in that situation with that lady, she made a mistake. She's an idiot. But now they're making it political, because I heard someone talk about the reason why they did this GoFundMe is because of the situation with the stabbing. Because it was kind of like, oh, you guys are going to rah-rah and rally behind him and give him all this money so he can get out of this trouble. Well, this lady over here is the same thing, but she's on our side, because now they're making it political, and now they're making it race. There's a big divide because everybody wants to say, you got to take a side here, you got to take a side here. And if anybody comes over here and says, we're pro this guy, then the other side's like, we hate him all of a sudden, and vice versa. When LeBron went and said something against Trump, everybody was like, he's the worst basketball player in the world. We hate him. It's like, what is this? This is just nonsense.
I think with when LeBron did that whole thing, I think really people want to just keep politics out of sports in general. I think just in general, like we go to sports to get away from the real world.
I agree.
And when you see athletes, now they have their right to do whatever it is. And I'm not just talking about Trump. I'm talking about who was the player? Was it Bosa that wore the MAGA hat or whatever? It's like, just leave it alone, man. You got the Aaron Rodgers on the vaccine. Now they did crucify him over the vaccine thing, so he's trying to stick it to him every second he gets. He's gone overboard with it all. Yeah. But like all of it just needs to be left alone. Like we come to sports to detox, to get away from all that shit. Like when I turn on a game, I don't want to see people wearing t-shirts, about F this or, whatever political party they don't like or whatever politician they don't like. I don't want to see it, man. I want to see you play the game or a wrestle or do whatever it is. I want to see you work your ass off and have success. And that's it. I want to just detox from all this shit we got to watch on the news, on the internet, everything. It's so annoying.
But unfortunately, you can't have that because the politicians use the same players also. When they have different singers, actresses, actors, they pull them on stage and be like, look, we got this guy. He's on our side. So they can get their whole fan base to go over there and vote for him.
That's another reason why Jordan's the GOAT. He's like, hey, Republicans buy shoes too. Like, it's just, I'm sorry, man.
But I'm simply saying. George's a Republican.
He's got a problem.
George's a Republican.
He's not a Republican.
Yes, he is.
Okay. Wow.
So, hey, I got a question for you guys. Because this is something that is debated all the time. What about, do you guys feel a certain way about, BET, Black Entertainment Television? Do you feel Black-owned businesses? Do you feel like that? Because, a lot of times people say that it's messed up that you can do that for a Black population, but if you had white-owned businesses and white entertainment television, it would be a whole different subject. Do you guys feel anything about that? Or do you guys have an opinion on that?
No, I don't. To be honest, I grew up watching In Living Color and things like that. I want to be able to just go to one channel and watch all the cool shit. That's kind of how it went, right? You wanted to watch, honestly, the Cosbys we grew up on. We grew up on In Living Color. We grew up on watching Black culture. At least I did anyways. And so Like if you have a channel, I can go there instead of trying to flip through and trying to find the reruns. Fuck, I'm all for it. Like things like that don't bother me. If it doesn't matter if you have an Asian site, if you have a black site, if you have a whatever it is, I don't care because I know there was a lot of controversy over like the blacks only dating webpage or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was called. But then I think white people came out with their own. It was like farmers something website. It was so dumb, but it was like almost like they're trying to compete now, and it's just dumb. It's just really dumb.
It's divisive.
It is. But then this is where I guess to take it one step further, how do you feel about our government funding projects? Not BET, but I'm saying like they're giving money to our news stations and to push their agenda. I think that government shouldn't be allowed to give any money to any news sources or media sources at all whatsoever. Because that's basically what you're doing is you're just creating propaganda. However, whatever your agenda is, when you give money to someone, whatever your agenda is, whoever's in power, those people know that, hey, I'm getting $1 billion from this president or from this administration or from this political party. What do they normally do? So I'm going to try to do whatever I can to make them happy. Whether they think they're doing it or not, that's exactly what they're doing. They're pushing that party's agenda or that administration's agenda. And I think that you should take money out of politics, period. But I think you should also take money out of our mainstream media from our politicians. That's our money anyways.
Yeah.
Like it's our, why do I want to fund that type of stuff? Which is just causing more divisiveness.
It's not a question. I agree with you.
Okay.
You're asking me as a question.
I'm asking because like, I feel like there's a whole, I think Candace Owen did something on this. There's a whole part of our government that actually has money for funding of movies, which is basically creating propaganda. They need to stay out of the movie industry, period. Like if our tax dollars are going towards creating movies, why? It's to basically program our brains to think a certain way. Why would our government need to fund movies? I believe they get a 24 billion or a 64 billion. I think it was 24 billion. They get $24 billion to create movies. That doesn't make it. Why?
I mean, on their side, it makes sense because
I think it makes sense.
creating a narrative. Like they want to
program us,
right? To either program or.
But why should my tax dollar go towards programming?
Well, I don't.
That part,
hold on. I don't think it's not to tell them what to put out. There is grant money to help. We need entertainment. So across the board, the government has to give certain grants for entertainment in certain areas. They shouldn't have the right to tell them what to do with it. Because when you start talking about grants, there's grants for everything. Why should
so you think they just give the money and have no input?
No. What I'm saying is like they have to give the money. They're going to give the money. It's just that they should not have the input. So instead of saying don't give them the money, saying give them the money and don't have that, do this and put this in there and make sure this is in there. Let's leave that out.
But they're not going to ever do that.
Grant money still is going to be there because whenever you do movies in certain areas, it helps bring more money into the different
communities, cities, communities.
So they're doing it in a lot of different places that can use it. Like Atlanta's big. Here
Texas
it's going to be big. Dallas, they're starting to do a lot of stuff in Frisco.
Yep.
Yeah, DFW.
And then they started doing a lot of stuff in these different areas. So a lot of money's going to come into that area. So that's going to continue to happen. It's telling them what to do with the money. I think that's the problem. That's where we see the problem. Because when I'm watching TV with my kids, and there's certain things that come on TV that I'm like, this is a little awkward, and it just keeps coming out. Now, to each his own. Mm-hmm. I don't care what anybody does. What you do on your time is what you do. But you don't have to like throw it into kids' faces across the board because we're just saying we're open to everything. In my opinion.
Why do you think that our mainstream media has become this negative center of divisiveness for us? Like it really, you turn it on now. It just has
because
to
it draws ratings and it creates conversations. It gets people clicking, and unfortunately, as a whole, society responds to negativity. That's what gets views, comments. The good stuff doesn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, so
doesn't get people talking like this.
Yeah, I'm dying for one of us to take a step up and have some kind of sex scandal or something like that. I just don't want it to be me. I think it should be you. As soon as it happens, we blow up. So
but out of all of us,
we're going to draw straws.
No, it can't be me because I will be murdered.
All right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bobby, I want to answer.
Hashtag no Diddy.
Bobby, you asked
or Diddy. I mean,
you asked a question earlier, and I want to take a stab at answering it about. I guess it seemed like being conscious of like minority-owned businesses, and is that kind of what you were like when you said, okay, here's BET, this is Black Entertainment Television, this is a Black-owned, right? There are people out there that regardless of race, they make it a point to establish themselves as a female-owned business, a Black-owned business, right? And as a consumer, I'm not necessarily so conscious of color, or it's more like the vibe. And okay, the Frisco Farmers Market, for example, a lot of Black vendors in there now. There's 2 butchers in there, a Black butcher and a white butcher. I happen to be very loyal to the Black butcher.
Yes.
And it's not because of color, though. That's my thing. It's because he's a lot cooler and he takes care of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's like 3 or 4 coffee vendors in there, including one Asian guy. I go to the Greek Italian guy because he takes care of me, you know, because we're cool. Because every time I see him, he shakes my hand and we chop it up for a few minutes. And
that's just good business.
Right.
There's certain things that you do that you just don't really think about, but you do think about it, but it's not in a malicious way.
Mm-hmm.
Like last week at one of the valets, this kid comes. He's a Black kid, young, high school age. Just the way he presented himself and spoke to me, and he was real cool about it. I was just gonna get in my car and do some stuff, but he said some real like I liked him afterwards. I was like, I like this kid, so I tossed him like a big tip just out of nowhere because I kind of saw myself in him. It could have been a white kid. It just happened to be a Black kid.
But the vibe was
the way this kid did it, the way he came to me, the way it was just what he did. I was like, I can see that this is a good kid, you know. So if I can help him a little bit, I remember I used to park cars at a valet deal in Missouri. So I remember how it was. And I was like, let me give this guy a little extra money. So that's how I support a different business. If I go to a Black business and I get terrible service, I'm not just going to open my wallet and give it to them and buy their stuff. But if I come there and it's a Black business and I like the vibe and they're cool and I can see what they're trying to do, sure, I'll give a little extra money. And that's so it's not because of a Black business, it's because of the service that I got from them. And I feel like I can relate a little bit more in this situation.
I will always try to support certain people like that I'm connected to. People from the islands, I'll always try. But sometimes they make it hard. Man, like, hey, it's more expensive. Yeah. Took a little longer, like for food, and then you get the food, and you're like, man, I really wanted this to be good. I really wanted to come back, man, because I want to support you, but I can't. Yeah. So I always try. I try to support good, that the people that I have some type of connection with, but it doesn't always work out. But the vibe to me is more important. I'm not always out there looking for Asian-owned businesses or certain types, but it's like I said, I just go off the vibe.
Well, like I had a couple of really good conversations with Herschel when he was training at AK. We'd get her a bunch of times and lunch a couple of times and stuff. And he brought up some good points, is that when you create a business that's minority owned, not just Black, but minority owned, you get grants from the government. And so those are one ways of making sure that you can get a little extra money to help start your businesses. So that's one way. But then also too, now this whole push for Black businesses or Asian owned businesses or whatever it is, I don't either your service is good or it's not. I think that's how it goes. Like when I come in, sure, you want to support, but like you just said, sometimes they make it hard. You're like, damn, I wanted this to be good. You know what? I'm going to give you a second chance. I'll be back in like 3 months when you get your shit together and see how it works. And you go back and it's either the same shit or all of a sudden the staffing's better and The service is better. They finally have got it locked down. Like we went to that Hawaiian Brothers right down here and right by your house. And the first time we went, they literally opened up like 2 days before that. It was packed and it was good. And then we went back like 6 months later. It was horrible. Like the food was like dry and it just wasn't right. Like, and it was like, you could tell they just slopped the food on there. They weren't busy and service was shit. Like we were waiting in front. It was just it wasn't a good experience. I'm like, all right. We went back again, like probably 6 months later again. It was worse than the second time. And I was like, man, sometimes you got it, sometimes you don't.
There's nobody from Hawaii involved in that.
Yeah, right? So someone was telling me that. Yeah,
like Chef Ipono has he's on their list and he calls them out all the time. It's all good. There's another,
but you know what I'm saying? But I'm simply saying like there's places, I don't care if they're owned by a native Hawaiian or not. I like that kind of food and I want it to be good. Yeah. So when you show up and you're like, damn, I really want to like this place because it's convenient. Kids love the mac salad. Kids love, the chicken teriyaki. Kids love the rice. Like, I'm married to an Asian woman. Like it's, like this is what we have for dinner pretty much all the time. It's like chicken and rice. We love it. And so we want to like a place, so it's just convenient when you're running behind on something. I could pick up something to go real quick. But then, man, after a couple of times, I'm like, yeah. Even my son, he loved it the first time, and the second time, and the third time, he's like, yeah. I was like, where do you want to go? You going to Hawaiian Brothers? He's like, nah. He's like, let's go somewhere else. That's when you've lost it.
We had the same. We were all excited when we first got here. We're like, oh yeah, piece of kind of like what we know, and then we went in, same thing. Yeah. Like, wait a minute.
Chrissy's back looking. There's no Hawaiian people back there. What you mean?
But there was just zero like local authenticity. But they had some cool T-shirts that we bought. But we haven't been back since. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you want to support.
What's the other Hawaiian place? It's right down on University and
Mo Bettas. Yeah, that's
that
legit.
place is pretty good.
Yeah, it's just right around here.
It's the thing is,
me and you already knew. We were like.
But they were Hawaiian. They were good, but like, it's gotten so expensive. Like this was expensive. Even before all the other stuff that's going on politically and stuff. But like, it's gotten so expensive for this stuff. Like we went and got pho here the other day. For the four of us, it was $100.
Yeah, no,
I'm like for soup.
Cheap. Yeah. Do you guys go to the farmers market?
Yes, I went there a few weeks ago.
So we go almost every weekend, and it's where we get a lot of our produce and our meats, as I mentioned earlier, my coffee, and just trying to support. Yeah, paying a little more, but again, just really liking these people.
It makes a difference on your customer service. It really does.
Yeah, I think when you talked about like Black-owned businesses, sometimes I think in giving grants for Black-owned businesses, I think what
for minority-owned business, not just Black minority.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to just give more opportunities because like. A lot of times in certain areas, the opportunity is just not there. It's that whole rich dad, poor dad. And in some of the white communities, there's money in there and the money circulates around and they teach their kids how to go for money. They teach their kids how to be the business owners. They teach their kids these different things. And in some communities, you don't even see that at all whatsoever. I had no education in money education growing up. I had none. Yeah. It was just make money, spend money, make money, spend money. And a lot of the people that are still in that area where I grew up, they're still in that same, they're broke to broke. They broke, get money, and they're broke. So I try to teach people how to make their money make money for them. But some people don't even need it because they have dads and they have their uncles and they have their friends around them that are teaching them. In some communities, they don't have any. And unfortunately, it is a lot of the minority communities. So to be able to come in there, it's hard because you know the target audience that you want to work with, but it's hard to just say that, oh, this is minority, where this is just for minorities, because it's not just for minorities, because anybody can get those different grants because they can find somewhere in their lineage that they have, that they're a minority.
Well, that's what, go ahead.
There's some grants that are not government backed or funded. There's some of these groups that support each other. And I think that it says a lot to how those groups, view their community and what they believe in. And what I mean by that is like there's certain, you'll see a Chinatown, a Koreatown, and these certain areas, right, of town where it's, that group has really locked it down and has all these businesses, but they support each other. Mm-hmm. So for example, if there's someone coming up that wants to open up a business, they'll support that person.
Yeah.
And that's not a government. That's the community saying, hey, we got to support each other. So, and I think part of that, there's good and bad to it, right? Because to me, I think it's not as inclusive. They're just saying, this is ours, right? This is our area and we're going to support our people. And you're coming and you have this idea and you need the money. The community is going to give you the money to help.
Yeah, so I've got a group of friends in California. They're Greek, and they own Nick the Greek, which is now expanding to like 250 stores across the country. Like they do shawarmas and stuff like that. But they used to own like these breakfast diner spots, real big, and then they sold all of those to buy Nick the Greek and expand it during COVID. Man, they crush it. The whole Greek family, even if they're not Greek, they've got a group of friends, including myself, that I would just hit their locations. Like, didn't matter because their service was always good. Their product, they owned Opa. They owned, in San Jose, they owned Opa. They owned Nick the Greek. They owned the breakfast spots where I used to have the Flames, bunch of breakfast spots. They own Breakfast Club. They own Lou's Diner off of San Carlos. Like, they own all these great spots. The food's always fantastic. You always get big servings. Their customer service is freaking awesome. They do a great job, man. Everywhere they go, they've always, and their other cousin Angelo started all these Heroes Ranch, Flowers, diet. Like he's all done high end stuff. Absolutely amazing. Nothing I can say about like they always help each other grow. They make their products so good. Like they're expanding all around. Like sometimes you just need support within your own community. Which I wanted to ask you this is that's a lot of the feedback that I see on social media. Is that blacks don't support black businesses. And I don't understand if that's a thing or is it because look, white people we don't run around going, and I don't think Asians do either. Asians don't support our stuff or white people don't support our businesses. Why do black people feel that way?
I think it's just kind of what Rich said is because a lot of times in the black communities, first of all, there's not very many businesses support. And then on top of it, it's like everybody just automatically wants your support if you open up a business. But a lot of times you can't get it. Is kind of what you said. If you open, just because I'm a black business owner, you come to my business and you get terrible service or you don't get quality products, then why would I come back there? But every other culture they do because you see it often. Like if you see it like I have a lot of friends that are I have a lot of Asian friends where I went to high school, and like they had a restaurant, they had their store, but it's stuff that they buy anyway for the food that they cook. So they're all in there. So if you go in any one of their stores, you'll see a lot of Asians in each one of those. Mm-hmm. Here, you see Indians. There's Indian restaurants all over the place. And I went to the Indian market. It was like I was the only one that was not Indian. And the place was packed.
Yeah.
But it's their food. It's their food that they make. So if you look at those and you compare those, it's like there's not enough black businesses to support. So I guess you can argue that, but I just don't know a business that I could support as a black business.
It doesn't.
There's not too many. Like back in the day, it was like, all right, we have FUBU, so everybody buy FUBU. like, what is it? But what is it? Like, should I not go buy Gucci? Should I not go buy Louis Vuitton? Because those are like the high end brands, but they're not black owned businesses. So I don't know. I don't know if you can have.
You got to go to the farmer's market. I'm telling you.
I went to the farmer's market.
There's so many black vendors now, and it's really cool. I'm just reminded of like these beauty products.
Yeah.
Bailey's we've been getting. They had this really great, like super clean baking soda based whitening toothpaste, all natural.
Right.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I think the farmer's market allows people to just set up businesses a lot easier than buying
Bobby been using that toothpaste since he was born. Look at them pearly whites. Look at those bad boys.
But in those situations, like now we need the grants because we need the grants to be able to get these minority businesses up and running so that they can have the capital.
But that's like the testing ground, right?
Yes,
is like, hey, I'm doing it. Like can I have a store? Can I run it, do this full time instead of just weekends? It's cool.
I want to wrap. I don't want to wrap on this, but I want to ask you this before we try to wrap up on the video that we were talking about. How do you feel about reparations?
That's a whole other topic in itself.
I mean, it's kind of is not, you can't answer it yes or no.
To a certain extent, it's to a certain extent because like who do you give it to and why? It's so. I like to stay out of my business so much, but it just in the wrestling business alone that I've been in, there's not fair treatment. And there's a lot of businesses that there's just not fair treatment. So at some point in time, how do you get fair treatment? How do you, and then if you don't get fair treatment, how do you make up for it? It's really hard. So
yeah,
but if you start doing it, the people that need it and deserve it and want it don't get it. But those people that don't need it, don't deserve it, they're sitting there saying, I want it. So it's hard. There's such a gray area.
Yeah, I don't think there's an easy like yes or no answer to stuff like that. It's each individual. I mean, there's just so many different layers to all of it, I feel like. So I don't know.
I'm just asking.
Yeah,
because I want to know.
Yeah,
I want. And should it only be given to black people?
Right, because of like the camps.
The Chinese came over here, and the Asians came over here and built a lot of stuff too.
The railroads and stuff. Yeah,
so I mean, like,
just got to do better moving forward. I think that's the thing. If we can just try to do better, we can't just say, "Oh man, I'm going to give you all this special treatment because your ancestors." But if I'm the new business owner and I open up a business, like I can't say I owe you something because of someone else. I don't.
Well, like I guess, how do you get rid of racism then? I know it's a whole nother story, and that's a long podcast. But like Morgan Freeman said, just stop talking about it. If you get media to just be like, hey,
because he was saying like, I don't like Black History Month.
Yeah,
right?
he's like,
every month should be. Right.
He's like, I don't introduce you as my white friend, my black friend Bobby, or my Asian friend Rich. I just say Rich. I just say Bobby, and people will, when they meet you, they will see that you're black or you're Asian, or like, I don't need to include those things. Yeah. Because kids, when they introduce their friends, like my kids, I've never heard them introduce their friends. Oh yeah, the darker kid or the one with blonde hair, or they don't do that. They just say, oh, my friend Ashley, or my friend Timmy. Like they don't understand that. So it's obviously a taught thing. So that being said, like, so should we just stop? Should you make a conscious effort of saying, like, I literally make a conscious effort of making sure when I introduce people or when I talk about somebody about them, I don't say like my Asian friend or my black friend or my Mexican friend. I don't say it. I just say, yeah, my friend Rob, or my friend Rich or my friend Bobby. Like, I don't say it. You'll figure it out when you meet them.
I think they're just very there's a bunch of circumstances that are just unfortunate that people have that racism is there. And if we don't talk about it, then it never can get handled. But if we talk about it, then it gets blown out of proportion and it gets taken into a situation. And I've dealt with it. That's why I'm a little sensitive to it. I'd never talk about it. I just move past it, like I always say, but I've dealt with it several different times. And it's just like I think, who was it? Dave Chappelle said, have you ever seen something so racist that you say, damn, that's racist? and I've been there a couple of times. I was like, damn, like when you see somebody smoking a cigarette, you're like, damn, does anybody really smoke cigarettes anymore? You see somebody that's just blatantly, just obnoxiously racist, and you're like, what?
Wait,
we don't do that anymore, right? We've moved past this. Yeah. But it comes out so much. Like some person that we talked about before is Hogan. Like we had that conversation about him. Man, he went on like just a wild rant on saying the N-word. like, so his history in wrestling is trying to be erased.
You didn't give him the pass?
I haven't even talked to him since then. I don't communicate him with like that, but it was like, so that's a topic that it's like, was he just holding this in, or was it just, I'm mad and I needed to say something very violent? Like, where did it come from?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about
always
intent.
a racist, and in your history now they start looking at your history. It's like, oh, you never really put over a black guy there, and then there's all kinds of different things that get brought out. The black community and a lot of the just community wrestling community across the board hate him, and is he racist?
I didn't hear what he said, but
I think everybody's racist in some ways.
Look,
like,
and it's still like where we are today. It still exists. You know, my kids will come home, especially Ollie, my son, and he'll say like, "Yeah, Dad, how do I handle this? How do I deal with this?" You know, and the kid's making fun of me at school.
Smack him up. My boy.
Fight solves everything.
So yeah,
Fighting solves everything, man.
You know,
Like,
we've
you
all
can-
dealt with it in some
Yes.
some form, and I'm more of a. You said just keep it moving, man. Just power through it.
Yeah, because you can't
It's all
fix
good.
everyone.
Smack 'em up.
You walk
You can't
down
fight
and
everybody.
and somebody says, you black son of a. Turn back and is like, all right, should I handle this or should I just keep moving forward? If you handle it, you're always gonna have to defend yourself. And at some point, but sometimes when it starts coming directly at you, where it starts hindering your job, your lifestyle, your life, your kids, and everything like that, that's when you start saying, all right, I'm gonna have to act on this.
Yeah.
and sometimes
Josh just wants to fight. He's just
racism
looking
can
at-
be fun sometimes too, though. So
Yeah, see, like if you're, I don't know. I grew up, I was one of two kids in my elementary school in San Jose that were white. Everyone else was black, Mexican, Vietnamese, and Asian, and Filipino.
But you're Mexican too.
I'm half Mexican. I'm half, yeah.
But
Well,
they-
Native American and Mexican.
but
My
they- but-
grandfather was full-blooded Yaqui Indian, and my grandmother was like Spanish Mexican.
But they look at you as white.
They look at me as white, of course, yeah. So yeah, but my mom is, her last name is Vasquez. Dad's last name is Thompson. So but but I'm still half Mexican. I grew up in a Mexican household. Like when my parents split up, I lived with my grandmother for years. I was born and raised, San Jose. Grew up on the east side of San Jose. So, when I look at it, people are like, yeah, you're racist. Like they said, you can be racist. I'm like, I really can't even see racism because if anything, I was the one being it was being put against. And kids trying to chase me home because I lived on the same street as my elementary school. I'm like, I was one of two white kids. There was a kid named Forrest, that poor kid. He lived right next door to the school. Literally, his name was Forrest. I felt so bad for him. But, heavier say kid. I had all my cousins lived across the street, all Mexican, all look Mexican. They'd walk me to school, walk back with me. They went to the middle school. So I had a little bit of not a pass, but I still looked white. So,
But
if you're
you
walking
call
with all
yourself white, but you're half Mexican.
I am half Mexican.
But you don't call yourself Mexican.
I call myself Mexican. People are like, nah, you're not. That's
Or
why
it's
I
just
get tired of the
convenient.
argument.
It's when it's
No,
when
it's just, nah.
But if you were with all the Mexicans, then they would automatically think that
No,
you're
all my
Mexican.
cousins call me white boy.
yeah.
Yeah, they call me Wedo.
Milkweed,
But everybody else,
They all call me Wedo.
everybody
Hey,
else,
Wedo.
they would come
Like,
at you as saying, "Oh, it's like Canelo."
No, it's just funny because when you see some of my cousins, Bobby, they're as dark as you. Some of them,
Right.
they're dark. Like my grandfather was really dark. He's all like full-blooded Yaqui Indian, so really dark. It's hilarious. And so when I see people talk, I'm like, yeah, I just don't care. Like people, I guess there's this little thing that just shuts off of me when people start talking about race. I'm like, it just doesn't, nothing triggers me when it comes to that type of stuff.
See, it doesn't trigger you, but you haven't had it really suppress you. You haven't had it like really screw you out of positions or jobs or anything like that. Once you do, and that does really have that effect to you, then it's like, all right, you have a little bit more sympathy for those people that are going through it.
Do you literally growing up all through middle school, and I actually went to go live with my dad because I was getting so much stuff in middle school and in elementary school after my parents split because black kids, Asian kids, it didn't matter, Mexican kids, all honky, white boy, cracker, all wanted to fight, always fighting. I was getting into fights all the time. Didn't matter. In class, out of class. This was back when if you wanted to leave the school or if you had to be jumped out of gangs. This was a big deal on the east side of San Jose. East side of San Jose is not I mean, you can compare it to some parts of LA. It's a shitty ass part of town. And so it just, to me, like if anyone had a reason to be racist towards other races, it would be me. Literally like fighting all the time, getting jumped all the time, knives being pulled on me at school. Like I just don't look at it. I'm like, hey, it was what it was. I grew up, ended up having a good life. I moved on.
I stepped away from a very lucrative situation because of having to deal with racism.
Yeah,
and that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not talking about financial, like that's, I'm just saying growing up, like that's how things get built into you. I'm like, you don't like other races because of what they did to you when you were younger. Like, and I just it never clicked for me. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. It is like, I didn't look at it as racism. I looked at you guys just being assholes. Like that to me is that people can
but
still.
You walked away and it didn't have no effect to you. Because
I just thought, to me, they all call me honky, white boy, take my hat, literally like take all my shit.
In my situation, it was causing a direct effect on me and my family and my life situation.
Well, I was in elementary and middle school. I mean, there's no real direct effect. Literally like fight, follow me home, fight in the front yard with my grandma watching, like things like that. Like it got to that point. It's hilarious because when I moved to Idaho, I was considered a spick because I was darker than a lot of the kids that were there, especially during the summer. Oh, you spick, you this, you fucking Mexican, like this and that. So when you're in Idaho, you're one thing, but when you're in California, you're this thing. So it just, to me, I never took it like, I just thought you were an asshole.
Yeah. And that's what I said at the beginning. Everybody has a stereotype or racism or whatever you want to call it. You have the right to do that. But once you start impeding on other people's life, let's just say life, because that encompasses everything, then it's a problem. And when you start, it's like their job, their family, their kids, whatever it is. Once you start doing that, then it's a whole different situation.
I guess to wrap this all up, she made a mistake. Is that what your take is? She made a mistake. Her emotions got the better of her. She let the words come out because she knew she was being filmed. She's like, I want to stick it to you because you're filming me and screw you. I don't care what you do. Your take on it is that she just made a mistake and looked past it, or?
No, I'm just saying that there's dummies all over the world. And if we sit there and put dummies on TV, we're gonna have these conversations. She's a dummy. Sorry, she's just a dummy.
There's no need to overanalyze and give this much attention.
Should she have said it? No, she shouldn't have said it. She's just a dummy.
Yeah.
Bobby, does Josh get the pass?
That's the whole reason for this.
I said no.
Just checking.
But
Josh thinks, do you want the pass?
No, I don't need, no, because like I said.
No, but you just wanted to be invited, right?
Yeah, I just want to be invited.
Just give me the pass, Bobby.
I'll never use it.
I won't use it.
But then sometime later you use it and then you say, well, Bobby gave me the pass, and I get a call saying, no, I didn't give him the pass.
So there's a call that you can call
Wouldn't
everybody.
That be funny if the pass is like actually like a physical pass and people are fact checking. Like,
you should do that. Like you should create a little pass and just give it out to people. Who's this dude on AEW you're doing the thumbs up and thumbs down with?
Yes.
Okay? Just walk up. If he ever does join the crew, like just give him the little pass. Here you go.
I don't know if he'll never get that pass.
Oh, he's not getting that one. Yeah. Not even him.
Josh, you got the thumbs down for the pass.
Hey, I still it's funny because I got friends in California still give me the pass. I just don't. Out of respect,
but you won't give their name. So if you don't give their name,
Travis.
We can't. Travis, how many Travises are there?
Well, I got a Big John. I got a Travis.
We need to get all this information.
I got my boys. I can actually verify. I've seen this crew and I've hung out with them.
You heard him give him the pass.
That part.
This is before Rich even lived in San Jose. Whatever.
They've got to be able to call in and say, because we check it. Because if you're somewhere else and you use it and you say, well, my buddy Travis, I got to call Travis. Travis, did you get this dude a pass?
Travis is a police officer in San Jose. You want to call him?
Oh, that's even worse. Now he can't get the pass.
No.
Oh, you just lost it.
I can call him right now.
You lost it. No, he's a cop. He's a cop, so he's not allowed to get the pass.
He gave the pass already.
No, he can't.
I've had the pass for 20-something years.
No, he can't.
I just don't use it.
He's a cop.
Come on, let's just call him.
No.
He'll straight up be like, yo, he's my boy.
Okay, then let me call somebody and ask him if cops can give the pass. A black cop can give the pass.
You can't make up rules as we're going.
I guess trying to.
He's black though, I think.
Yeah.
I think he can. I think he's good there.
Damn. All right. Well, hey, she fucked up. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen to her, but the internet's going to do what the internet does. So until another episode of the Dad Dojo, join us, subscribe to us, hit the comments down below, and have some fun.